2.
Welcome to Talking Sports, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday morning. It's the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It ain't Kurt Herbstreit. It ain't the opening drive. It ain't three-man front. It's the greatest sports team in Birmingham, Keefer and the legend, better known as Kip and the legend. Kip, hey, brother, it's a Saturday. What do you think, man?
I am pumped. We're 5 weeks from college football.
Close.
This week, and we'll talk about this in the second segment. They had this gathering over at the Winfrey, I think it's called SEC Media Days.
SEC Media Days.
You and I didn't get invited, so
why?
Yeah. Hey, Greg Sankey, the authorities on SEC football were not invited to the party. What's up with that? Anyway, we'll get that fixed because Talking Sports is blowing up right now.
Blowing up.
We will be front and center for the next SEC Media Days. I'm not sure if it's even in Hoover next year. Might be over in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta.
Might be road trip.
Road trip. About time for some road trips.
But we are getting pumped because football is what we are all about. We're only 5 weeks away. Cannot wait. The Legend jump-started things this week on Twitter, and we've got a brand new Twitter site, by the way.
Yes, we do.
It is Talking Sports 14. The Legend already got it up and running yesterday. We've got a couple hundred followers already.
200 already in one day.
200 followers, and that's a great start. So before you do anything else, get on your Twitter and get on board with Talking Sports. But the primer that the Legend provided this week was his original preseason top 10. Don't look at all those other ones.
Yeah.
This is the Legend's top 10.
The real dude, the truth right here, Kim.
And number 1 is
the Alabama Crimson Tide.
No.
What a shocker, ladies and
No.
gentlemen. I know you thought I was going to put Auburn up there, didn't you, Kim? You
I
thought
did.
Auburn was going to be number 1.
You're really a secret Auburn fan.
Well, I do like Gus Malzahn. I have to admit, he's a handsome man. I do. I have to admit.
You don't want him to ever leave.
Never leave, Gus. Never leave. But Alabama's number 1, Kip. And I really believe this season will come back down to 1 Alabama and 1A Clemson. I think they're clearly the 2 best teams in the nation. And I really think we're just wasting time about playing any other game than the national championship game, Kip. It's that much of a difference. That's why I have them 1 and 1A. These are clearly the 2 best teams in the nation. But the revenge factor, Kip, and the fact that Clemson can't keep their mouth shut talking about Notre Dame's better than Alabama at ACC Media Days is going to give Alabama the edge. We fear no one. We will be back for that ring, Kip.
So wait a minute. So Notre Dame is involved in ACC Media Days, but they're not in the ACC.
No. They're an independent.
Yeah.
something.
So last year's first-round playoff game was an ACC matchup.
Yes.
Between Clemson and Notre Dame.
Yes.
Come on, NCAA. Come on, college football playoff. The whole thing is a mess. Anyway, that's very interesting. You got Georgia 3rd. You didn't get any flack about that. I did see some derogatory comments about your number 4 pick. A lot of folks in this part of the country aren't too high on Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, I like Jim Harbaugh. I think he had a bigger rebuilding project at Michigan than folks really knew due to the fact that you're trying to compete on an elite level. It's one thing to try to be competing to get number 10 in the nation. It's another thing to try to compete to get in the playoffs, Kip. But I think Shea Patterson and Jim Harbaugh, I think that combination, the improving, outstanding defense they have there, and the fact that Ohio State is in a small decline with a new quarterback and a new coach. I think Michigan sneaks in the playoffs this year, and Harbaugh gets beat by 40 by Alabama in the first game of the playoffs.
So Legend setting that line at 39.5 right away.
39.5.
We're going to talk about football betting in the third segment today. All right, so that's the top 4. That's the important ones because that would be the playoff.
Yes.
5 through 10. Who sticks out for you on your list here? Who can really emerge as a contender?
Well, you got several teams in the nation that can emerge as a contender. I think Oregon is clearly a team that if they get by Auburn in that opening game, the schedule sets up. The Pac-12 is easy enough for Oregon to make a run for a playoff spot. They have an NFL caliber quarterback in Justin Herbert. He'll be a first or second pick in the NFL draft next year. They are loaded in the defense also with outstanding speed. Oregon is a team that can make a run. Look for a resurgence with Texas, too. Texas brings back their coach, brings back back their quarterback. They've been recruiting well. This may be the year the Longhorn gets at somebody like it did the Bulldog last year in the Sugar Bowl, Kip.
Well, as we mentioned, SEC Media Day is going on this week. LSU and Florida both made your top 10.
Yes.
I listened carefully to both coaches' presentations. I didn't learn much.
Well, there's still a lot of, Auburn easily could be number 10 on this list. We've talked about Auburn. Auburn is a team that could surprise if they get some quarterback help with the fact that they have the best defensive line in the nation, the third best offensive line in the nation. But Florida come back, it'll all depend on Felipe Franks. I think his name Felipe. I always get Felipe. There you go. Slap it out of me, Kip. Felipe Franks. If his development continues, Florida will be a threat. LSU is outstanding on defense. Joe Burrows returns. You got the Cookie Monster down there. So LSU is also a team that could surprise this year.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. That's the Legends Top 10. Again, now we have interactivity because we've got our own Twitter page and our own new Facebook fan page, promotional page. So if you want to exchange ideas with Kip and the Legend, if you got some comments on the Legends Top 10, you want to put up your own top 10, we want to be interactive. We want to hear from you. This is the fans show.
Yeah, this is for you. This is for you. If you want to challenge my top 10, if you want to go head-to-head with Kip and the Legend this year with the picks, get on our Facebook page, get on our Twitter page. We're going to be on Instagram. It's blowing up. You can catch us out at the Birmingham Racecourse, the hottest place in Birmingham. It's 5 weeks away, baby. It's getting pumped up in here, Kip.
Let's go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about SEC Media Days and do a little role playing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay with us.